I literally hate you guys. So, do we want to say hey to Kenny? Hello, Kenny.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey! Kenny, motherfucker.
There's some energy.
Kenny, I am going to send you a bottle of bourbon for putting up that nonsense, getting this thing ready.
I guarantee you don't need to do that. I have way too much bourbon. If I could probably give away some to you all, and that's probably what I need to do.
Do you think he could live up to your bourbon expectations? I don't think he could. Whatever he sent you isn't good enough.
Brian's pretty sneaky with his bourbon.
Hey, the best bourbon is a free one, so I wouldn't
right.
make complaints out there.
That is true. Unless it's from Costco. Costco's Kirkland bourbon. I'm a big Kirkland guy, but I don't think Kirkland bourbon is good. What do you think, Kenny? Have you had that?
Well, actually, they just announced it today that they are rebranding and they're coming out with 3 new expressions in partnership with Barton 1792. So you're going to start seeing a small batch, a bottled and bond, and a single barrel, all at different proofs.
Now, let me ask
I'm
you
already
Kenny.
smarter.
From Kirkland. Wow.
Kenny, do you have a business card that says you're a bourbon guy?
I actually don't have a business card, oddly enough. We give away like stickers. We look at stickers as like our business card.
See,
We figure that's
I got a neighbor who doesn't have anywhere near the credentials you have, but what he does have is a fucking business card. He just likes bourbon, and he likes to share his enthusiasm.
I have that card.
With the fucking card. And I wasn't sure if that was a bourbon thing or if that's just a neighbor thing, and apparently it's a neighbor thing, not a bourbon thing.
Yeah, I was like, do I need to get a card? Like,
Apparently you do. If you want to live in my neighborhood, you absolutely have to get a card. You're
That's
already
the membership. It better be high glossy card too.
Yeah.
It needs to be legit at that point.
So I listened to some of your shows today. Give us the background. How did all this start? Was it buddies? What got you into it?
You know, bourbon itself, I kind of started drinking bourbon, I think, where a lot of people at college, right? I mean, that's kind of where I fell in love with it. And after college, I found myself still drinking bourbon while other friends were kind of gravitating to other things, getting into wine, but I just still kept drinking bourbon. But I was still drinking, mid-tier, lower-tier stuff. I mean, it's post-grad, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're still doing. And then at some point, the bourbon bug hit me around 2013, 2014, and I just started going ham and buying like a bunch of bottles. And there was my podcast partner now at the time, he was in a totally different industry, and he said he was actually going to start a podcast on what he does every day. He does lawn care, spraying for weeds and all that sort of stuff, because he's listening to podcasts day in, day out. And he's like, I'm going to start a podcast on my industry. And I think he realized it was going to have a short runway and the amount of people that were probably going to listen to it. And he had a friend that said, well, you're from Bardstown, Kentucky. Why don't you do a podcast on bourbon? And he's like, all right, that's a pretty good idea. And he reached out to me because our wives were mutual friends at the time. And he knew that I was really getting into it. And I said, well, let me go and do some research, because my friends and myself, I kind of coined myself a little bit of like the dream killer, because I look at it like anything that you think of that you can do, it's probably already been done, and you're not going to be able to do it
negative
better.
like that too. I kill everybody's dreams.
Every
bourbon
time.
related, but if somebody starts talking, I'm like, no, that's
Any
a bad
kind of
idea.
Optimism.
Yeah, I'm
Half empty
Shut that shit
chap.
down.
I'll suck the air right out of that fucking room.
It's not.
And he just said, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, well, let me go ahead and I'll kind of see what else is out there. And there was at the time only 2 or 3 other like bourbon podcasts, and some were, a few guys sitting around a microphone sniffing Elmer T. Lee going, oh, I smell vanilla and caramel. And I'm like, okay, I wouldn't even want to listen to that one. And there was another one, which is Whiskey
stick up their
Cast.
ass when they were doing that.
Yeah. But there's another one called Whiskey Cast, and hats off to Mark. He's still doing it today, and it's a very good B2B kind of focused podcast, but he covers whiskey in the category as a whole, and not just bourbon. Mm-hmm. And so I said, okay, well, there's something here that we can do. And I took a page out of another podcast that my manager at the time was running, a very successful tech podcast called the Cloudcast, and it's interview style. He used to have just startup CEOs on and kind of ask them and share the knowledge of what they're building. And I said, well, this is what we're missing. Like, we're missing a voice from the distilleries. We're missing a voice from getting the information from, behind the lines. How do we have people that they know what a bottle of Maker's Mark is? They know the iconic red wax, but where did that come from? Like, what's the story behind it? And how do we get, Bill Samuels, the chairman who, really took Maker's Mark from nothing and grew it into what it is today. How do we get him on and tell that story? And so being able to kind of capture those stories and being able to bring that on is what we've been doing now. And we started that back in March of 2015. And so we are, just now over 6 years old, 304 or 5 episodes into it now. And we finally have it's like a well-oiled machine. It took us like 100 episodes to finally get our gears in motion. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride so far.
This is
and now
fantastic.
back in 2018, it started leading us, and now we actually have our own whiskey brand too.
How do you feel about Kentucky bourbon barbecue sauce?
Oh, barbecue sauce. There you go.
I'm a barbecue sauce
I'm a
guy.
huge
and
barbecue
I got
sauce
a
guy.
great Kentucky bourbon barbecue sauce. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Is that overlap, or do our fields overlap at all, or is that a whole different thing?
I mean, you can use bourbon in almost anything, so why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Why not? And because it absolutely tastes fantastic on ribs, chicken, anything.
Listen, what about, I'm going to give you an idea here, Kenny. What about a light beer pursuit? We start a podcast around light beers. I'm a huge light beer guy.
Yeah.
Miller Light, Coors Light, Corona Light.
Can I
Just
introduce?
those three.
Amstel Light.
Just those
That's
three.
it.
The
Just
whole
those three.
podcast.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to go any further.
As a Canadian, I have to
Sounds
throw
like
in
one
light
episode.
blue. Light blue, because Labatt's blue comes with a light blue. Absolutely amazing.
And I would also like to say, speaking of Kirkland's, do not put
No.
their light beer
Do
in it
not do.
because it is terrible.
Really?
Oh, it's terrible.
That's
Kirkland's,
terrible?
that's the
believe it.
only
Whoever they
Kirkland
have
product.
bottling their
bad.
beer or canning their beer for them is not.
Oh, it's
not
terrible.
good.
I thought
It
that was
was
a great
Wait a
deal
minute,
for
Kenny, have you?
I love that we're talking about shit beer right now.
I know. Well, we got this bourbon connoisseur on
That's
there.
my fault. I started with
Yeah,
with the
way
barbecue
off
sauce.
topic.
But what I want to know is, have you heard of?
Milwaukee's Best Light is pretty good too.
Ooh.
I love
The
the
Beast.
beast.
The Beast.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Does Philadelphia make a good bourbon or no?
Oh, he's probably never.
So
heard
I
of it.
mean, there's distilleries now across the U.S. Just a handful of years ago, there was the majors here in Kentucky that produced 95% of the world's bourbon supply, and over the past I think 10 years now, we now have around 2,000 distilleries across the U.S. Wow. So if I haven't tried every whiskey across every single state. There is a lot of great bourbon being made outside of Kentucky nowadays, and that's kind of what has a lot of us excited in the bourbon world too. Is that there's gonna be a lot of cool shit that's gonna be on the shelves here in a few years.
So
No, wait. What's so special about bourbon, like compared to rum and otherwise? Why is bourbon get so
Well,
much
there's a
attention?
distinction between bourbon and whiskey too, right?
Sure.
Yes.
What is that? Maybe like I guess
Well, that's a
Phil's on
good
that
question. It's a separate question, but I'd like to hear the
It's
answer.
the starting
Can I
point.
ask another question
No.
too?
Before you can answer.
No.
Is there a summer bourbon drink? Because I'm a margarita guy, and I'm a big
tequila
summer.
type.
I need a summer drink.
God
There
damn
is a
it.
good summer drink.
there's
I'm a big fan of the Gold Rush cocktail, so go take that one. It's like bourbon with some honey and some Domaine Canton. It's really good.
Is there any
honey.
tequila or margarita that I can put in it?
I mean, I guess you could swap out the bourbon for the tequila, but
I like this.
You got to go
I
with
think
raw
it's called
honey.
a margarita.
Raw honey.
Call it margarita.
But yeah,
So hey, Kenny, I do have a legit question around bourbon though, because I'm starting to get into it.
Wait a
Hats
minute.
off that you started it in college, because I
Yeah.
would have spit that up in
Shit, yeah.
college. I'm finally getting a palate for it. Now, bourbon and rye, I'm trying to figure out they're in the same class but different, correct?
So they're both whiskeys, and I think this is one thing. If you ever come to Kentucky and you do a bourbon tour, you're gonna hear the same bullshit 51% story, because they're always like 51. Bourbon has to be made with at least 51% corn.
Yes,
That is what is a bourbon, and they're always gonna say one thing is that every bourbon is a whiskey, but not every whiskey is a bourbon.
So wait a minute. Can you mix bourbon, or are you not serious if you mix bourbon other than with some ice or something?
Well, how do you think I started in college? I wasn't sitting there just
Well, yeah,
drinking
that was
bourbon
Jim
and
Beam
Coke.
straight. I mean,
I was a Ryan Coke and Ryan Ginger guy all through high school and college.
yeah.
So
And don't be wrong. I'm talking about summer drinks. I'll have a bourbon and ginger anytime. I mean, that's always a good
is
thing to have when
ginger
it's
is
sweltering
fantastic.
July heat.
yes, 100%.
All right, I'm going to try that. So speaking of rye, every time somebody brings up rye, I always think of rye bread.
Yeah.
And rye bread is terrible. I'm not a rye bread fan. And here's
Rye
the reason-
whiskey is delicious.
Is rye whiskey
some
better?
people
than
hate
rye-
it. I mean, I would
Better.
say a lot of people.
Does it taste like
enjoy
rye
it.
bread? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say, "Pugh."
Well, rye's got more bark, right? Typically.
Oh yeah,
It
I can vouch
it's more
for that.
spice. It's definitely more spice, and definitely to be categorized as a rye whiskey, it has to be at least, what do you think, 51% rye in the side of the grain bill. You have there's a powerhouse of a rye manufacturer in Lawrenceburg, Indiana called MGP, and they make a 95% rye mash bill. So it's 95% rye that goes into it, and about 70 to 80% of the bottles that you see on the shelf today are actually all from MGP. Huh. You'll learn when you start going through here is you start learning to read the back labels. Yeah. And so you like take Bullet Rye, for instance, right? You think Bullet, Kentucky bourbon, Kentucky through and through. You go and read the back label. It says distilled in Indiana.
So what's something good, like a cheap, not cheap, but something that I'm not a big bourbon guy, right? I'm a big getting wasted guy.
Yeah, we can all vouch for that.
Big fan of getting wasted.
So it'll get you there. No, not a problem.
Didn't make it tonight.
Yeah. I was at Cinco de Mayo.
Little Cinco de Mayo for him.
Yeah, there was
no bourbon today.
Yeah, there was no bourbon. A lot of tequila and a lot of sweet salt. Is it sweet salt? Salty salt.
We'll go with it.
Salt.
But anyway,
I've never heard a lot of sweet
Does
salt.
does Don take you as like a sugar on the rim kind of guy or salt kind of rim?
Salt.
I think it's a mix of sugar and salt.
I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows.
Sugar in the front and salt in the back.
You could do either one, and he wouldn't notice. the
Kenny, are you asking about his loafers? Is that what we're asking here?
I'm going to tell you this. Here's the real answer to that: is whatever comes in front of me, I'm drinking.
Yes.
That's the way I like to do things.
That's a good point.
But here's the thing, seriously, Kenny. What am I drinking during the summer? Give me a good bourbon to go and get. I need to go out to the liquor
He
store.
just did ginger and bourbon.
No.
Yeah, but Kenny, wouldn't
He
you say a
said
Woodford
I-
Reserve would be
Right.
good for him?
What
Something like
kind-
that?
Yeah, what kind of bourbon should I be getting? That's not going to break the bank, but I'm going to be able to binge drink. I'm a huge binge drinker, Kenny. Love
I don't think
Also
he's
known
telling
as
you
alcoholic.
Functioning. Piece
Well, being who I am, I'm never going to condone binge drinking, but I'm not going to say it doesn't happen from time to time. There's a few staple brands out there, and I think for anybody that's kind of starting to this journey, there's a way to kind of look at it is you got to figure out what kind of whiskey you like, whether it's a low rye bourbon, a high rye bourbon, or a wheated bourbon. Those are the main bourbon categories. So when you think of like Maker's Mark, that's a wheated category, or Old Weller 107 or the Weller Antique brand, all that's in the wheated category.
My favorite, by the way.
Then you go on the low rye side, then you're looking at things like Old Forester, Woodford Reserve, and stuff like that. Go to the high rye side, you've got some stuff from like Four Roses. So you can start picking and looking at some of the major distilleries that are out there and trying to figure out like, is Elijah Craig my jam? Maybe Elijah Craig's your jam because it's $30,
That's good.
94 proof,
good.
easy sipping. You're not going to sit there and hurt yourself on a Kentucky Hug or anything like that.
I recently just got a bottle of Eagle Trace.
Eagle Rare from Buffalo.
Eagle Rare.
Trace.
I'm sorry, Eagle Rare from Buffalo Trace. Can't tell much of a difference from Buffalo Trace, except for the $15 difference in the price.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. It always depends. And here's the thing: is that bourbons will never be consistent, no matter what you do, because every single barrel of bourbon is always going to be different. Because the way that it was distilled, the way that it is aged in the warehouse, did light hit it, did a bird shit on it, did anything can change the flavor of the whiskey inside the barrel over the time. What was the weather like during the years that it was sitting idle? What type of wood? The type of grain, the age of the, how long did the staves or the air dried when they actually made the barrel. So every barrel of bourbon is going to have subtle nuances. And so there's people that get paid at these distilleries to taste bourbon every single day and try to create something that is a constant and consistent profile for all these different brands.
You know what we should be asking about? And I'm sorry about this. In December of 2018, I think Pursuit Spirits was founded.
That is true. That's when we founded our own brand. Yes.
Tell us about this one. So what category we falling in with yours, Kenny? I have not had this one, and I want to try it now. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we'll take 7 cases.
Yeah, where do I get this?
It's in the mail.
Don's
It's in the mail.
thirsty.
It's in the mail. No, seriously, tell us about how you got in. Obviously, you got into it because you like it, but how are things going with that?
Things are actually going great right now. I've been struggling all day trying to get registered in different states because we're starting to expand distribution a little bit. But we started back in 2018, and it almost never happened. And I'll give you kind of an idea. We ended up talking about a brand on the podcast because it was this place called Doc 52's. It's this liquor store in Memphis, Tennessee that was creating their own brand at their liquor store. And we talked about it and saying, well, this isn't something new. Grocery chains used to have their own liquor store brands way back in the day before that sort of tailed off. And I got this phone call like a week later, and this guy goes, hey, I heard you talking about this brand. Would you be interested in doing your own? And we were like, talk to us more. Yeah. Long story short, he's a barrel broker based out of Memphis, Tennessee, and we can get all behind the scenes of like the whiskey world and how all that works. But he's like, I got 2,000 to 5,000 barrels of inventory. You can come and pick and choose whatever barrels of whiskey you want, and we'll bottle them and we'll sell them under your own label.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, he is. It's a raw deal, and this is kind of like the inside scoop of how what we call NDPs or non-distilling producers, such as ourselves, like how you create brands. This is also brands that, like the largest one you've probably heard of is like Jefferson's as a non-distilling producer. They finally have their own distillery now, but for the longest time, it's people that source whiskey, they buy it on the open market, bottle it themselves, and then resell it. And the way that it typically works is that say you wanted to start the Fiddly Dicking Bourbon Company or whatever it is,
we're
right?
doing that tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think Don wants tequila. Fiddly Dicking
domain is
tequila.
We already got the domain.
And our bourbon's just
In
going
my
to be
head,
Miller
it's
Lite.
already done.
Yeah.
It's bourbon light.
And it's
beast.
Bourbon mixed with Miller Lite, a little bit of tequila, a little bit of
It's not
rum.
tequila, it's just margaritas.
Bourbon light.
That's it.
But the way it would usually work is, you guys got to come together. You got to pull out, 50 or 100 grand or whatever it is. And, these barrels cost anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000 a piece. And you get the barrels, they show up, and you have no idea what they taste like. You don't know what their fill levels are. You could have 100 bottles a barrel or 200 bottles in one barrel, or you could have 20 bottles in a barrel. You're still paying X amount of dollars for that barrel. So it's a super risky type of venture to get into, but he gave us really great terms, and we were the only ones in the industry to actually go and hand pick all the barrels that we wanted for our bottles. So we started down that path, and we sold close to 20 something single barrels until he said, guys, this is a pain in the ass, because when you're doing single barrels, it's cool, like you get to select a single barrel bourbon, but it is a pain in the ass when it comes to creating labels. There's a lot of waste that goes into it. The time that's spent bottling and changing out the lines.
Ink, right?
There's a what now?
A lot of ink.
Well, I mean, there's
Creating
just
labels. No.
I mean, you pay for the labels, you pay for the manufacturer, but there's but put it this way.
Everything's laser.
The minimum quantity you have to order is 250 labels, and if you're only getting 125 bottles out of that barrel, you just wasted 50% of the labels. You just got to toss them. So there's a lot of waste that kind of goes into it. Now, that's what he said, you got to figure out something new. And so we started down the path of about a year of exploration and trying to find different whiskeys and different partners, and we started blending, and we finally came out with a new product back in January this year when we first launched, and it's called Pursuit United. So we launched Pursuit United and in 4 different states plus online, and did about 2,200 bottles of it and sold out in about 2 months. We're now we're trying to right now we're doing our second run of it, and we've got all the barrels in our bottling warehouse right now. So hopefully by the end of next month, we'll be back out there in the market.
So, quick question: when the barrels are empty, do you take them up to a grassy hill and you get in them and you do the old barrel roll down? I'm a huge barrel roll fan.
You got to go over Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
That's got to be the best.
barrel.
That's got to be the best barrel to roll down on.
So much fun.
I'm going to take a guess what he does with those barrels.
It's we
Send
actually
it to
don't
the winery. You send it to a winery for the winery bourbon.
There's different ways that we could go with it, but right now we don't do anything with them. We just let our bottler take them, and he chucks them to somebody else or sells them on the open market. So we've done a few barrel aged beer projects with some local distilleries. So we've taken some barrels there and done that, because we talked about beer earlier. I'm actually a huge barrel aged stout fan.
Yeah, me too.
You find me some barrel aged stouts that are 14% or higher, like that's my jam.
All right, listen. Hey, Kenny, we got this is awesome, and it's been a lot of knowledge. We gotta bounce in a minute here, but we'd love for you to plug every and anything you want to plug so we can share it with the world.
For sure. Thank you again, guys, for having me on. So you can always catch Bourbon Pursuit. We release 2 podcasts every single week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, wherever you get your podcasts. And then you can also check out Pursuit Spirits, pursuitspirits.com. And we're going to start opening up in Colorado, Illinois, and
Yes.
potentially Ohio next year. So
we're coming to
Illinois, that's where we're at.
We're coming to Benny's.
Yeah, you gotta get at Benny's.
Love it.
We're there all the
we
time.
just got registered with the state of. I've got my mytaxillinois.com login and
Sorry
everything
about
now.
that.
So
Love Kate's
We're gonna get
relationship with My
fleeced.
Tax Illinois.
yeah, we're legit now. So yeah, we're gonna get there.
That whole Bourbon Trail,
Sounds very
that whole
peaceful.
spot down there is a great. You guys gotta check it
There's a
out.
bourbon trail.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
And I have to walk.
God.
Is this a walking trail? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing it.
It's kind of like the
not a
Oregon
big
Trail.
walk.
Take a second.
Oregon Trail.
I was hoping we
Like
were
the Oregon
in
Trail.
the Oregon
Hey,
Trail.
and I didn't want to say. I didn't want to say anything
I
about
had
the
to
Oregon
say-
I
Trail.
thought for sure you were going to go there.
Yeah, but you know what? I
can't.
knew that it wasn't time for Oregon.
I always thought you
Bourbon
liked a good trail.
Yeah.
Regardless of
I
what the
wish
trail
Not a
is.
big
knew it
trail
wasn't
guy.
time.
All right.
Not a big trail. Trail mix.
Well-
Huge trail mix guy.
Well, Kenny, we kept you on long enough. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We
need a
said,
lot more
we just
time.
scratched the
bring you back.
surface. We can't wait to have you back.
We need to get you on for 2 days. Let's do a 2-day
We'll,
podcast.
Marathon.
Just a marathon.
I think-
yeah.
A lock-in.
Oh boy.
We're doing a lock-in.
48 hours with Kenny.
Mushrooms,
Kenny for the
bourbon, and
lock-in.
Kenny.
Yeah.
I think
There
we'll
you
do
go.
a tasting.
As long as you
now.
ship me the
We'll
mushrooms,
bring-
too, I'm
Show them
in.
the light.
Yeah.
Fine bourbon.
I love it. Kenny, you fucking rock, dude.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you, sir.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Kenny.
for
Have a
calling
good
in.
night.
Yeah.
Have a great night, Kenny.
It was awesome. Appreciate it.
It's never my fault. It's your fault.
Yep.
100%.
It's fine.
Man, the
We'll
producer's
dig those
quick
up.
on my wife that.
We'll dig
Don't hit
those
the
up.
fucking
Don't
switch.
say that to your wife.
No,
No.
I do all the time. She loves it.
My wife hates it.
She loves it.
She tells me
Somebody's
Change
lying
what?
here.
You know, she loves
when
it when I say it's her fault.
never my fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Yes, you should always say that. You
Try
lead
that.
with that every fucking time.
Yeah. They
Because
love
it's
that.
true.
Everybody loves that. I tell the waiter
Yeah.
that. I tell my kids that. I tell my teachers that.
I always
You have
open up
teachers?
with.
I guess I'm
What are you
still
going
in
to school for?
I'm still in school.
Billy Madison over here?
Yeah. I'm on my way.
I love it.
Every conversation starts with, listen, you fucked up.
Yeah.
That's how you start a conversation.
Oh, I like that.
I was at Costco today,
Ooh.
I love
and there
Costco.
was a door, passenger door, wide open.
Like,
Nobody's
minute.
in that car.
Is Costco relevant here? Because it just sounds like you're in a parking lot. Can you lead
Yeah.
with a parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
Or
know
is Costco relevant?
It was a Costco parking lot. Everybody knows a goddamn Costco parking lot.
That's a busy parking lot.
Friendliest parking
you say
lot.
Costco, I'm thinking fucking big bags of fucking.
They've got a big parking lot.
Okay, all right.
Costco has a big parking lot. Plenty of space. Fucking passenger door open. People aren't there. What do?
You close it.
No, you don't.
You go through the car and see if there's a person there.
Why wouldn't you
You
close it?
hotwire the
What
car.
if it's locked?
Yes.
You
You
hotwire.
steal
It's
it.
all
You
about
close it.
hot wiring.
You close it.
Get the car outside
Usually
right
a
now.
kid left the damn thing
What are you
open.
talking about? What
It
does it
was
matter
one-
if it's locked?
They might not be able to get back in if their keys are in.
So the better idea was for them to just leave the door wide open.
Hey, we're talking
Hey,
about
forgot
we're
my
talking,
keys. Let's leave the door
we're
wide
talking
open.
about American
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
here.
That's
Yes,
about the
that's
most
about right.
constant
Fair
thing
point.
ever.
They didn't want to take a
Oh,
chance
hi
of
there,
locking the
neighbor. You
door.
left the door open.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you
You
didn't
hit
lock your
unlock
keys.
and
You
then
can't
you
lock
close it.
yourself
That
out
was
if it's wide open.
That's a good
Who
point.
leaves their keys
No,
in the
you hit
car?
unlock and then you close it.
Right.
Wait a minute. I thought we were
But
going to
this
leave
is
it
the
open.
back
You do
door.
that then.
No,
I'll
then you
lock
get
it.
caught in their car.
Yeah, close it.
This is the back
I
door.
wouldn't just
though.
close it.
All right, we're
Yeah.
continuing this conversation.
gonna
'cause I got
continue it?
things.
You shut the
I'm
door
with
and go
Nick
on.
now.
Hey, when are we starting the golf thing again?
What golf thing?
Friday mornings?
Oh,
Yeah, we were
I
talking
forgot
about that. This Friday might be a little chilly.
Yeah, not this Friday.
Nope.
Yeah, 6:30 standing tee time is
Here's
coming back.
here's the only time that I'm going to play golf.
You say this every year.
Yeah, is when
and
I
then
can.
it's like, hey, do you want to play? Okay.
When it's on a PlayStation?
Everything.
when I here's the thing.
Anytime.
When I can take the top off the car and keep it off.
The guy
And-
finally gets the top off. Now it's the fucking thing.
Yeah, and when I can
It's
take
the
the
only time
doors
he's
off
going out. There
and
we
the
go.
side
Yeah.
mirrors. When everything can go off. When everything comes
Why don't
off.
you just ride your bike?
All right. Well, fuck you. You know what? It's when I can ride my bike.
Then you can use your hand circles.
I'll come pick up your clubs. You ride your fucking bike. I'll meet you there. In
It
15
actually is going to
minutes.
be 42 Friday. I would play Friday for sure.
Fuck
42.
that noise.
Yes, no.
We
it's
played
sunny,
last
I'll
Played
week.
play.
colder than that a couple
It'll be better
weekends
than the
ago.
week
It sure
next
did.
week will be
It
great.
will be.
If it's sunny, I'll play.
It was chilly.
I knew
what,
you would.
the week before
me
we
sun,
played.
I don't care.
50
Just so you
degrees.
motherfuckers know, my hibiscus is still in my office, cuddled up with a blanket.
I was going to say, does he have his little binky around him?
Fuck yeah. The hibiscus isn't outside. If the hibiscus isn't outside,
Yeah.
my ass ain't outside.
Nope.
Me and the hibiscus.
Good
Did
rule.
you bring him out yesterday for a little playtime outside?
I did.
Were
I
you
kicked
out
the
there
soccer ball with him.
the
Yeah,
heater?
I love when he does that. He's fucking great. He throws the football with
so
me.
fast.
He is.
Man.
Hello, hibiscus. Watch him
back
go.
here, you little
Yeah,
guy.
You look. I'm gonna play tag.
Little rascal.
Yeah. But I did go to as I was at Costco and we were talking about the door shutting, right?
Wait, in the parking lot or inside now? Because we just covered the parking lot so far, and I want to know where you're going with this.
let's rewind.
Okay.
Did you close it?
Get out of the car.
Home Depot?
I see a car. It's a kid. 100% a kid left the back door open.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about this.
Left the back door open. I said, you know what? There's something wrong about a guy going up and shutting the door. So I said, fuck that.
I don't see why. You don't even have to stop walking.
You could even throw
Give it
your
a
hip
slap.
into it, just like do a little hip check into it.
Yeah.
Then all
Not
of,
that big of a deal.
all of a sudden, I'm fucking denting it. Somebody comes out.
Oh,
There's
so it's a
a dent.
liability.
Liability.
Because when I hip check,
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah, you go all
I'm like
in.
goddamn Shakira.
You play to win.
Yeah. When I move my hips,
They don't lie.
They don't lie. They don't lie.
they don't fucking lie.
I picture like the Victory Auto Wreckers.
Yeah.
Remember that commercial where the door falls off?
That's what's gonna happen. Somebody was trying to set
Maybe
me
it
up.
was a setup.
Yes. Somebody was trying to set me up. So I'm
That
like,
old
you know
car
what?
is worth money.
Fuck you. You're not getting me,
Call the
motherfuckers.
police.
I almost
Was
did.
it a front door or a
911.
back door?
911. Is that a 911 call?
I think it might be.
Is that a 911?
Yeah.
There's a goddamn back door open. What do I do?
Everything's a 911.
Here's what you do.
What do I do?
You
You
get
wanna
in the
shut it?
car.
Sir, shut
you
the
get
door.
in the car and you close the door and then
And
see
then-
what happens.
and then wait for them to show
Just
up?
sit there quietly.
Yeah.
Stay on your phone.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Not threatening.
Yeah.
Be cool. So wait a minute. This whole story is you walk into Costco from the parking lot, seeing a door open, and just ignoring it and going shopping.
So I ignored it. Went shopping. Got myself some of the nice plants in the things. I think I got 3 or 4 plants in the big plants.
Yes.
Right? It's time now. It's time.
Pot. Yeah.
Yeah, the potted
Front
plants.
door ones,
I got
yeah.
some fucking potted plants. I went and got some goddamn strawberries, some blueberries. Because you know what? You need blackberries. You need to
Got
make
all those.
sure you're getting your vitamins.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Raspberries.
But not watermelon. Not a lot of vitamins in watermelon.
There was no goddamn watermelon to be found.
Yeah,
that's
that's a little
a reason
early
for that.
Oh, water.
That's a June.
That's water.
a June.
Is that a June?
Yeah.
Watermelon's more of a June situation?
I think
Yeah.
so.
So, first of all, not packed at all on a Wednesday. Was it Wednesday today?
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
It's always a Wednesday.
Always a Wednesday.
When we're here, it's
Yeah,
a
is
Wednesday.
it always a Wednesday?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Except for the one
Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, take it for granted.
All right. You know what I did?
Yeah.
By the way, not packed. Go through the self-checkout. She's flipping. Bop, bop, bop. We go on out. Door's still open.
Oh, shit.
Oh, she's asking for trouble.
Door is still
Dawn
open.
trouble.
Door's still
no
open.
other good Samaritan thought
and
anything
so
of it.
that's the thing. There were other people that literally parked next
Right.
to it. Nobody touched it.
There's a hidden camera show.
You pissed inside.
Do I go and touch it?
No, it's a,
No.
The jig
I
is
act
up.
like, you know what? I put my shit down. I did steal one of the shoes. There was like a little kid's shoe. I stole the shoe, just one shoe.
Is that the one I saw in the rearview mirror today?
Yes,
I like that.
It's
Little
hanging.
Jordan.
It
It was
is. It's
good.
hanging, it's hanging from the fucking rear view. It was a little Timberland.
Yeah.
I do not understand the big deal of closing it. I don't get it.
Well, you're not done.
Well, that's you and me both.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
silly.
no, me too.
Just close the goddamn
Listen,
thing.
Shut the door.
So let me tell you a story.
Today's world's different.
I closed one of the door. There was a time.
There was a time before
There
this
was
happened.
a time. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what
A
happened.
bad
So-
experience. A
Yeah.
bad
Yeah,
experience.
so let me tell you, got a DUI.
Closing the door.
Yeah.
Got a motherfucking DUI.
Okay.
Goddamn popo.
Yeah.
Don't know how that happens, but it makes sense.
That's before body cams,
Yeah.
though. If
There was body cams,
you
I'm
would
gonna tell you, I
never.
would
You'd
have
be
been
home
fine.
free right
I
now.
would have been fine.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
I'd have been fine. Goddamn DUI. That's how they get you. That's so. It was honestly.
It's
and
the
you know
hidden,
what?
leave the door
Yeah,
open.
yeah. You know what? Fool me once,
Classic
clappers.
police
Yeah.
move.
This was like the Benny Hill.
Chris Hansen
We got
walks
another
around.
one. Yeah, it's like the goddamn. Yeah,
The
it was
best
Chris
state.
Hansen was going
Pops out of a fucking van.
My first time. This is my first time closing the door.
What were you
should've
thinking,
got-
sir? What were you thinking when you closed the door?
You should have got like,
I knew I shouldn't have done it.
I'm trying to think of the cheapest thing at Costco. You should have gotten like 12 cases of ramen.
That's still like
Just chuck them in
$85.
there.
and just
I
threw
don't
him
have
in
that kind
there.
of
Throw them in there.
Just throw shit in there.
Couple.
Jesus, I did feel bad for them because I think that a lot of people probably almost took out the
Trying to
door.
park there?
Yeah, because you couldn't. I mean, it was all the way out.
They got big parking spots, but not
What
that
kind of car
big.
was it?
They do have big parking spots.
Jeep Grand Cherokee,
Oh, my.
Huh.
beautiful car.
Oh,
Yeah.
Beautiful car.
Would-
I vacuumed it. So what I did is, since it was open, I didn't shut the door. I just vacuumed. I was keeping it clean.
Rummaged around inside a little bit.
I was
but I didn't want to close the
I'm not
door.
closing that motherfucking door, but I'm going to rummage through the goddamn
Checked
glove
out their
compartment.
CD collection.
Yeah.
That was
I'm
nice
going
of
to find
you.
out what the fuck is going on. Tell you that.
And if you get caught, you were just looking for the owner's contact information to tell them their door was
Right.
open.
Thanks. You know what? Just looking for the contact info.
Good
That's all
Samaritan.
I was doing. Yeah.
Good Samaritan.
Underneath
at work.
the
I wanted
driver's
to call them to tell them their door was open
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
wasn't shutting it, but
Yeah.
I'll look for their
I'm
contact
looking.
info to
I'm
find
looking.
it.
I'm going to keep that fucking thing clean.
Yeah.
So when they walk in,
Yeah.
like they went to a goddamn car bright.
That's a good move.
One time when I was in high school, walked out in my car. I was a senior in high school. Look in the back seat. There was a blanket and reading glasses.
Any CDs? Any
slept in
CDs?
my
'Cause
car that
you got to
night.
get those CDs.
And,
They didn't take a single thing.
and they didn't take their blanket and
And we lived
glasses.
in the middle of nowhere. Like there's no sidewalks where we're at. We're like in an unincorporated area.
That was you.
I didn't
You
know
were
what to do.
drunk.
It was you.
You were drunk.
He was on a bender.
It wasn't that me, I swear.
They went on a picnic.
The old high school blanket
Here's the
trick.
best part. To the day my dad died, he wore those glasses.
Were they cheaters?
They're cheating. I think what happened is he slept in there.
He slept in it.
Here's
Your
what I
dad
think
slept in
happened.
there.
Like he was sleeping in there and he got freaked out because my dad was probably pulling out for work and he
No way.
he made an escape.
No
Yeah, he slept in my car
Really?
in the back seat.
A
Yeah,
hobo?
yeah.
What if your dad slept out there? Maybe that was his spot.
That was
Maybe
maybe that
that
was
was
him.
When the old lady was
That's a good
pissed off.
point.
That's where he was going.
Forget the couch. I'm
And
going
you're
in
like,
this car.
Dad's
Maybe
wearing
that's what it was.
Dad's wearing the Drifters cheaters. No, no, son, those are mine. That was my spot.
Son, somebody must have slept in your car.
My blanket.
I had
My
CDs in there.
blanket. It was a
Yeah.
I had
comfy fleece
I
blanket.
had because I played music. I had my bass amp in there.
Wow.
All still there.
Yeah, that was your dad slept
That
in
was
that.
definitely
Nobody
your old
said
man
it's a sneak out spot.
That was one. Yeah, that was one.
Way to lock your car
I'm
on the
going
base amp.
to Brian's car.
Yeah.
Brian's coming out at 7:30. I gotta get out of here.
That's actually the safest place for a bass amp is an
Yeah.
unlocked car because nobody's
Yeah,
stealing
nobody
that
wants
shit.
that.
Nobody
Nobody
knows
wants
what
that.
it is and
Yeah.
nobody's stealing it.
What was your mom's name?
Colleen,
Colleen.
lovely lady.
Fuck Colleen. I'm going back. I'm going to Brian's car. That's it. I
Deal with
don't,
this
I don't
shit.
need this shit anymore, Colleen.
I'm too old for this.
I love that you thought
tell you.
your dad was wearing some Drifters cheaters all these years.
You had to help Brian. That's in my head. That's what it was. God bless you, Dad. I miss you. Those were not your glasses.
That's a classic dad move.
Right?
But you have to help Brian with this math homework.
Fuck that, Colleen. I'm going to the car.
Get back in here now.
Yeah, Brian's gonna go with those cheaters on too, just so you know.
We still have them.
Yeah. Oh, I know you do.
they're
You're
in
gonna
the
die
box.
with those cheaters on one day. That's just so you know.
that you probably told the story and he kept a straight face and he said, "Oh, that's
Well,
crazy,
we talked.
son.
We
It
were like,
was
what do we
weird."
do? Do we call the police? Or like,
He's
you
like,
didn't
no,
take anything.
no need to call the police, son.
I got
I
this.
say we let this one go.
You're right.
These things fit. These are
Coming
nice.
around now.
They didn't take anything.
I'll take those
Let it
glasses.
go,
Why
son.
not?
Let
That
it
was
go.
before Dollar General was around. Now you can-
Oh, shit. That's funny.
We solved your life mystery.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Hi, I enjoyed that guy.
Yeah.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
Nishant is in the house.
Listen, there's nothing more amazing than that kind of fucking surprise that you got just now.
I loved it. It's been a while since I had 7 guys say hey to me.
There you go.
You know, I'm hearing your voice, and I'm feeling like, is it psychic vibes?
Psychic vibes?
Yeah, I think it sounds like he's in Vancouver.
It does sound like Vancouver. And by the way, I think from the way of Wisconsin.
Oh my God, he went there
Yeah,
first.
sounds like he's been in Wisconsin.
By way
and
of
then-
Wisconsin?
Yeah, and then he's in Vancouver.
Are we right?
I have a feeling he was in the middle of nowhere.
It's incredible how you came up with that, because that's exactly correct.
Well, the
We're
internet.
very
It's
sneaky.
the internet. It's not us. We're not going to take all that.
Investigative journalism.
Nishant, enough about this clown show we have going on right now. Tell us about what's going on with your healing strokes, brother.
Well, so nice word. So
That's why I used
I'm
it.
an artist, and what I do, and we were talking earlier about how Wisconsin is kind of full of nothing, a lot of nothing, but So what I do is I walk around cities and towns and places, and I sit by street corners and I draw the city, I draw the people I see, and I draw whatever looks beautiful to me. And before I went to Wisconsin, the only Wisconsin I'd seen in my life was that 70s show, which I saw growing up in India.
Milwaukee.
Kenosha.
And it gives a new meaning to beautiful because you usually don't get a full mouth of teeth either in Wisconsin. So you got to find the inner beauty there.
That's really true. And I know a lot about it because my wife worked there as a dentist.
I'm missing a tooth right now.
No, his wife worked there as a dentist.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, she did.
So is my theory true?
It's true, yeah. There's a lot of... it's known as meth mouth.
This guy's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for everything tonight. And we'll get this episode out later on.
Can you tell which one of us is from Wisconsin here?
What I wanted to do when I went to Wisconsin was that I wanted to figure out how this thing works, how America works, because I was new to America also. And I was new to being an artist. I'd never been an artist in my whole life. And I decided that I'm going to learn how to draw. And I'm going to walk around these towns and I'm going to look at things and I'm going to look for what's interesting and I'm going to draw it again and again and again until I learn how to draw.
Get out of here.
And that's how I've taught myself to draw over the last 4 years.
Those videos you have on your Instagram page, those things are amazing.
Amazing. Watch them all day.
Yeah, seriously.
It's crazy.
It is impressive.
Very talented.
How'd you end up in Vancouver?
So I moved from Wisconsin. I was in Eau Claire. And then right before the pandemic, not expecting it, I moved to Chicago for a year. Because both my wife and I absolutely love Chicago. It's our favorite city.
We are.
Good drawing. It's a good drawing city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not as good as
Actually,
Vancouver, though.
Chicago is the reason I became an artist. That's
No kidding.
the most simple answer. And then, last year she decided she wants to study a little more to be a pediatric dentist, and she applied to a bunch of programs. And she got a place in Vancouver, and we decided it's going to be a nice jump. And I've never been to this part of the world before, so every day I try to go out and explore like a whole new world.
It is beautiful there. Like, what's that park there called?
Stanley Park.
Stanley Park. Absolutely love Stanley Park. I mean, it is spectacular. The smell of the ocean, the ships, and Vancouver Island in distance.
Wait a minute.
Great jogging.
They call a park after Stanley? I knew a Stanley. That guy
Flat
was an
Stanley?
asshole.
It's that guy, yeah.
Is it
It's
Flat
exactly that
Stanley
guy.
Park?
They have
Yeah,
a statue of that guy that Don's talking about right over there.
Thank you.
He's the Stanley.
Terrible. So real quick, do you think you could do a caricature? Your drawing is fantastic. Like, I've watched your drawing and I've tried to imitate your drawing, and I'm terrible at drawing. But do you think you could do a caricature of me?
Right now?
Right now. Ready, go.
Yeah, I could do that.
Oh, shut up.
It's the guy surfing.
He was thinking about that all day.
Oh, you could. Wait.
I'll do something for you. That's okay. This is a special
Poor guy
moment.
to work.
Talk amongst ourselves.
No, we can keep talking. That's
Can we
okay.
still talk to you while you do this?
Of course, yeah. So
I'm gonna tell you,
I sold
he is-
art. I started selling art when I was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, right? So I'm like the only brown guy for 100 miles. And I'm setting up a stall in a farmer's
Not in
market
Vancouver,
next to the
though.
cheese curds and next to stuff like that. And I'm trying to sell art, right? So I'd put up my prints and I keep thinking, why would anybody stop here? Why would they look at this? I need them to look at this stuff that I've made. So I need to be doing something here. So I'd do a whole bunch of live drawings. Like I'd put up a big sketchbook and I'd just draw everybody who came by there and I'd make that little drawing and show it to them. And of course, I'd be talking the whole time. So that sort of stuff isn't very difficult for me. So we can keep talking while I draw.
And I'm going to tell you, that's what I loved. So when I would look at his stuff, he is literally drawing people that are doing
like
things.
live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like a live-
fantastic.
Like in Chicago, he'd just have a guy that's shooting somebody while he's standing there. How many live shooting shots do you have in Chicago? I bet a lot.
Hey, here's another carjacking. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm so fast, I draw the bullets.
I'll fucking apply that. That's fucking great.
That was gold right there.
That was fast. That was bullet fast.
Good work, brother.
Yeah, he's not kidding.
It had to be a big shift from very urban in Chicago to more landscape-ish in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Are you still hanging out in the urban area?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm from a very, very, very urban city. I'm from Calcutta in India. That's a big city with a lot of people, packed urban city. And I moved from India to, I wasn't always an artist. I studied to be a mechanical engineer. Wow. And I went to the Netherlands to do a master's degree, and I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. Wow. And that was also a small town.
And then became an artist.
And I studied a little more after that, actually. How I came to Chicago is an interesting story. I came to Chicago because I was doing research. I started a grad program after my master's degree. And I was working in biomechanics, which is how the human body works if you were a mechanical engineer and trying to figure it out like a machine. Wow. So I'd work in stuff like that. And we were doing experiments with stroke patients. And I'd come to Northwestern University in Chicago to do those experiments, and all kinds of fascinating people who've just happened to have a stroke. And I'm trying to figure out how their body works and doesn't work, and trying to get all these nice numbers out. If you work on a car, if you're trying to work on the engine, you can get all these fancy numbers which tell you about the oil levels and about the temperature inside and about how much, how the injection rate is going for the fuel, etc. So we try to get those kind of numbers out for the human body. And that was fascinating stuff, and I was doing it. But I fell in love with Chicago, and I just thought this is the most beautiful city I've seen. And I'd always wanted to be a writer. And I was making these comics at the time. I didn't know how to draw, so I was making these stick figure comics, literally the circle with 5 lines. And because of Chicago, I left my PhD program. I decided to be a writer. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do all of this stuff. And I started walking around town after moving to Chicago. And I thought, okay, I draw stick figures, and that's not good enough. If I'm going to do this for life, I need to learn how to draw. Wow. So I'm going to look at this city. Every neighborhood is absolutely amazing. These people are freaking crazy. They do all kinds of stupid, insane things. They're so colorful.
Yeah,
I'm going to draw them all.
Yeah. And by the way, we have 3 other stroke people that are probably in this in our 7th. So if you want to study former patients,
nobody gets drawn more than Don though.
That is true.
Yeah, people love to draw him.
And here's what we're gonna do, Nishant. Me and you. It's gonna be the Don and Nishant comic strip hour. What do you think? Me and you. We're gonna go on the town. We're gonna comic strip. Me and you. Live. We're gonna live comic strip. People are gonna think
people who never met, people who only know each other on Riverside FM.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, dude, we got it right now. You know what? I'm leaving these guys. I'm coming to Vancouver.
How long have you been in Vancouver? How long have you been in Canada?
I hope you got a bedroom.
Only since January, so it's just...
Yeah, hold on a second. Let's go back. Do you have a free bedroom? How many bedrooms? Does your wife care? I mean, can I come in? I'm not really a cook. I don't really clean, but I'm going to tell you this, pal.
He can fix a dishwasher like nobody's business.
Fuck yeah, I can fix and break.
Right. He's low maintenance.
I mean, you make your own job then.
Yeah. Do you have a flashlight? I'm very, very good with it.
He is. You should see stuff you can do with a flashlight.
Yeah,
I have a dishwasher that you can first break.
Oh my God!
I have a bedroom, but it's not free. But I guess you'll make all that dishwasher money, so you could pay me back.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm on my way.
It sort of makes sense. Yeah.
Fiddly Don is en route.
So what are you going to do? So is your wife still going through the schooling and stuff
the
like that?
Pediatric dentistry.
So she starts in the summer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. She does? Okay.
So we just came here early to get a vibe, get a sense of this place, and so I could start, moving with my work.
So how long have you been there then?
Since January.
6 months.
6 months.
Hey guys, don't worry about me. I'm here.
Wait a minute. I'm seeing the upside.
He just wanted you to draw him. He's not going to pay attention.
Yeah.
So Don was drawing a picture of you.
He's going to be posing on my couch when he gets here.
Yeah. He wants a home.
That's him knocking on your door, actually.
Yeah.
So now your wife has got to be saving some money on schooling there, though. I mean, that's the great thing about Canada.
Yeah. Not only that. So the reason why we had to freaking leave my favorite city in the world was the immigration system. So we've spent like 7 years as immigrants in the US, but we don't get a green card because we're brown. Yeah. And it's like at least another decade away or so. So if she started school in the US...
You guys should marry Americans. That's what I did. That's how I got the green card. You should split up like for a while, not like officially. Yep. You each marry an American. Yep.
You got one
green
for him?
card, then you say, fuck these guys. Let's get back to brown.
90-day fiance.
That's exactly the problem. And we made the big mistake of getting married before. So we should have planned it. But
you should have planned better.
so the problem was that if she started studying in the US, I'd lose my right to work, and that would be the end of me being a professional artist. So Canada kind of liberated us. Canada's been my land of the free, not America.
Yeah. Well, until you got to wear a mask all the time, and and not leave the house with COVID. I got family in Canada still. They're like prisoners over there. We got to send money. We sometimes send canned foods up there. I don't know. Because they can't leave the house. It's fucking chaos over there.
You have some great stuff, and you have a lot going on. You have the YouTube channel. You have your podcast. We want to keep in touch with what you have going on in your latest stuff. Where do we look?
Yeah. So, social media has become really crazy and difficult to connect with, the content creators you like. So about a year ago, I started a newsletter. I kind of realized that what I want is not the attention of 100,000 people who give me like 3 seconds. I want 10,000 people who really give a damn. So I started sending out newsletters, and that audience is growing a little steadily. And I talk about my art in it. I share my podcast episodes in it. And I'm a self-educated artist. Like, I look at things, I think about why I like them, I draw them. That kind of tells me what I like about them. It gives me a better sense of what kind of artist I am. And I share that journey of sort of discovering new places and also discovering what kind of art I like, what kind of artist I am through the newsletter. So that's usually the best place.
How do you get signed up for the newsletter?
I have a link on my website. There's a link on my Instagram, everywhere.
And just go to sneakyartist.com and get signed up there. Great. Mm-hmm. You got at least one more subscriber for sure.
Great.
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. If I sign up for your newsletter, you've got to sign up for my Christmas newsletter. I send a Christmas newsletter out to everybody. Just let them know. Let them
picture of the kids.
Yeah. Let them know what I've done.
Dogs
for
the whole year.
Yeah. No, by the way, fuck the kids and fuck the dogs. It's just me. And I'm just telling everybody how I am.
Yeah. And it's the picture he drew tonight.
Yeah.
I'm fantastic.
Sean True. That's it. So that's if you.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm here. It's Don.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Everything's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Oh, my gosh. I love that he loves Chicago.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I love
Best
this
city in the world.
I'm happy
Best
to hear
city.
that. It is. I agree.
In the summer.
I hope we get it back.
Yeah,
I hope we get it back.
That's a good point about the summer. It's the only city where I would happily tolerate even that winter.
Yeah, see, I'm more of a
They dupe ya.
I'm more of a Charleston, South Carolina guy. If I really is it South Carolina? Is Charleston in South Carolina? Is it North Carolina?
I gotta tell you, he's winning with Vancouver, Canada. I gotta tell you, it is beautiful.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, but you can't fly anywhere. You can't leave. I think is it martial law now?
You gotta sneak over the border. You gotta go like.
I'm a big
don't bring your kids because they'll take your kids and they'll keep them for like 3 years.
You turn them into mounties.
If you leave your kids at home, it's a great place to sneak into.
Yeah, I'm a good sneaker.
Yeah. And you love Vancouver.
The other thing is because I draw so much, I hang around in one place for so long. I'm a very slow walker, so I'll probably take a lot of time just to cover the downtown, and by that time they'll probably open up the rest of the country for me.
You know what? What I could do is here's what we got. I figured this out. I'm going to come up there. I'm going to stay with you. And instead of paying rent or anything, I'll just be you hop on. I'll be your piggyback.
Sure.
You just hop on. You hop on my back because you're a slow walker, and we'll go real fast. I'm a fast walker, and so we'll just walk around the town real quick.
Yeah, Don's a fast walker, not a big rent payer.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay any rent.
He doesn't like to pay for a lot of things, not just rent.
That's a fabulous
restaurant tabs.
And by the way,
he doesn't have to watch where he's going. He's just drawing.
Like a Sherpa?
And you're running like a Sherpa.
Yeah, like a Sherpa.
Oh, and I'll tell you, my core is fantastic, Nishan. And also, I'm a huge scrambled egg maker. So I could make some scrambled eggs when you wake up in the morning. Hopefully you like scrambled eggs every day.
Don's looking for a job.
I feel like he's got an interesting CV, so you should email me definitely. I'm going to check out these qualifications.
Tell us one thing, though, because I thought this was a pretty cool thing on your website that you should absolutely plug, and it's how you can have a membership. You have different levels of membership.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I thought that was a cool concept.
Sure, yeah. So it's kind of, have you guys heard of the 1,000 True Fans model?
I haven't. Have you?
No.
So if you look at how the internet works, like until 5 years ago, we were thinking we need to go viral. We need to have like 1 million, 2 million fans in order to get like that core group of fans who really give a damn, who'll actually spend money and give us money for whatever things. So the 1,000 true fans model says that don't shoot for those 1 million, just shoot for the 1,000 true fans. And the definition of a true fan is somebody who would give you $10 a month. So you have 1,000 people giving you $10 a month, you're earning 6 figures.
Right.
So what do you need to give to convert 1,000 people into paying subscribers? So that's what I think now with respect to what I do. I have a podcast, I'm a writer, and I'm an artist. So what are the different things? Like I'm walking around town with an open mind, without any project in mind, just drawing what I see. But once I have these drawings and I have my ideas around them and what I've seen, I try to wrap them up in different products. And I try to think about, how do I want to show it to you? Is this an immigrant looking at a new city? Is it a guy who likes walking around cities, looking at city designs? So I'm thinking of always different perspectives and points of view that I can put to my art to have it make sense to people, to communicate it to people. The idea of what I do at its core is that all of us, no matter who we are, have this sense for what we like about visual arts. Maybe it's something on a wall, maybe it's a painting, but maybe it's something else. Maybe it's how a city feels, maybe it's how we feel when we're in nature. So we have this sense, but not all of us are able to articulate what it is. So the job of an artist, job of me as an artist, is to help you with that, bridging that gap, to show you something that you see maybe in your normal day, but it looks super beautiful once it's made into art. So in my membership, that's what I talk about. People support me every month. I talk to them every month, and I share my art. I share ideas from my podcast, in which I talk to illustrators, people who've dropped their jobs to travel around the world and paint in all 5 continents, things like that. And I try to share why they're doing this. Some people are professional artists, but some people have jobs. They just like to spend some time making art of their environment. So I talk about why that's a thing and what awesome, value there is to that. Like just slowing down and appreciating the world you live in.
I love everything you're saying. I got to tell you, I want to walk around with you. And how much that cost? Because listen, I talk a lot, so you're gonna have to.
You will be entertained. We promise that you will be entertained
or annoyed. Anyway,
I was not polite.
I've taken you guys on a couple of walks already. Actually, I've been listening to the podcast while I go out sketching, so that's already happening.
That's awesome.
Right on.
So you were on my back already. He was already piggybacked.
You were.
He piggybacked on me, and he was with Chapman as well. It was fantastic.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for calling tonight. This was fun.
It was.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're going to stay in touch.
Yeah,
We're definitely going to stay in touch.
Oh yeah, we got some things we need you to draw.
Fabulous.
So get ready.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do
Get
it.
those, crack those. This is what I do when I'm ready to draw. I don't know if you can see it, but what I like to do is I like to stretch the fingers out. Stretch them out when I'm drawing.
Is anybody seeing what he's doing?
Yeah,
I can't see.
I'm stretching them
unless
out.
I'm here. I
I'm
can't
stretching
see.
them out.
It's not on the video.
Now, do you crack?
I see
Do you
Fiddly
crack?
done.
No, I don't crack. I'm not a cracker, but I'm a stretcher. I like to stretch those fingers out.
Yeah.
I can crack them. I crack them at will.
Are you can crack your fingers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I
next
will.
level. You're next level. Don doesn't even understand what you're doing over there.
Oh my God, you can crack them just by doing that?
Yeah.
He's a pro.
He's like a goddamn superhero.
That's exactly true.
He's an Avenger. Jesus.
Awesome.
Well, listen, man, you have 7 new fans right here. We appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah.
Great
Thank you so much.
experience. Appreciate this.
Absolutely great
Thanks,
time.
Sean.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
All right, my man.
Later, brother.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.